25% increase everywhere.
Every basic ability, skill, and talent can be developed through hard work, good strategies, persistence, dedication, and input from others. Where focus goes, energy flows. So focus your energy on continuous learning and stop wasting time thinking about looking smart. Build resistance, build vulnerability, build courageousness, and face adversity with a smile. Become comfortable with uncomfortable. You know, the only person that you need to prove anything to is you. Imperfect action trumps perfect inaction. Stop wasting time and get on with it. Failure is part of learning, so start learning by taking action. Now, Simone, you're not here. There you are.
Again.
All right. You're there, though. You're there now.
Christian Lavolsi, this is the hot seat. Welcome. It's Tuesday. How is your week going so far?
My week's pretty full on.
It's only Tuesday.
I know. I was just talking to someone just before, and they're like, "Sounds like you're busy." I said, "Yeah, it's been a full on week." They're like, "You realize it's Tuesday?" I'm like, "Oh." I didn't realize.
Me that we are actually halfway through the week because it's a short week this week. So we're already halfway. I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but that's
I don't know. These short weeks, you know, they drive me crazy, as you know.
I know. All right, we're here to talk about the hot seat. I've got 3 burning questions that I've wanted to be asking you this week, and we're really talking about challenges of strategy development. So I'm going to dig straight into my first question for you, Christian. And I wanted to ask you, I'm really keen to hear your take on this one. What's the difference between a business plan and a strategic plan?
All right. So a business plan, in my opinion, outlines traditionally the goals and the foundational steps to achieve them, right? Mm-hmm. So the primary focus is generally on launching or even running a business. So that would include your financial projections, your market analysis, product services. Essentially, the business plan is a roadmap for a startup or an initial growth phase, and it's often used to secure funding, but also guide
going to the bank or something like that.
Yeah,
right?
correct. Yeah. But also guide those early operations, Simone. Whereas a strategic plan, I always like to say, is the thinking behind the plan. But it can also be a little bit different. So it dives deeper into the long-term vision as well as the direction of the company. It focuses on setting the priorities, allocating the resources, as well as implementing the steps that you need to achieve what I would define as sustainable, repeatable growth, as well as what gives you that competitive advantage. So a strategic plan is a living document, okay, that evolves with your business. It guides decision-making as well as all the strategic initiatives. And so, you know, in essence, a business plan sets the stage, while a strategic plan would navigate the ongoing journey, ensuring that you're just not just surviving, but in fact you're thriving. And what it does is it adopts a dynamic landscape for people to operate in. And that is why, you know, the framework that I use with our large clients is a combination of both. We'll sit down for 3 days and deep dive the strategy, and what we do is we combine the planning side afterwards, so that we use it as a roadmap, and also it governs our discussions every quarter, every 6 months, as well as every year. So it's, I mean, that's probably the best way I'd put it. Strategic plan is dynamic. A business plan is a roadmap that's set.
Yeah. My brain's automatically gone back into accountant mode where I'm thinking like, all right, a business plan is kind of like your budget and your strategic plan is your cash flow that's constantly moving and evolving. I don't know why. That's how my mind kind of interpreted what you said there. I wanted to move into the second question that I have for you, Christian, and I wanted to ask, who needs a strategic plan? Like, is this for every business owner in every single phase? Because I can really tell you in startup land, I never heard about a strategic plan. I heard about a business plan. I never heard about a strategy.
Look, Simone, absolutely every business owner needs a strategic plan, no matter how big or how small you are, right? Or even the stage of the business, right? So whether you're a solo entrepreneur just starting out, you know, or you're a leading multinational corporation, right? A strategic plan is essential for guiding growth, fostering innovation, and maintaining, focus amidst the chaos of daily operations. I look at the clients that we had during COVID, and a handful of them, in fact, almost 80% of them, didn't even need JobKeeper, and they were bricks and mortar businesses, and that's because we had market dominating, competitor crushing strategies that were predefined and pre-written that allowed us to navigate. People that had business plans were the ones that were calling, saying, Christian, can you work with us? And I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm already committed during this phase, working with people who have a dynamic plan. So, that's why you need one, right? Now, for a small business, and let's say for startups, a strategic plan actually helps them set clear objectives, because it also helps define the steps to reach those goals that might be in the plan, and understanding the resources that's required. Really, really important. It's also a tool for staying aligned with your vision as you scale. Right now, medium-sized businesses would benefit by identifying the new opportunities and optimizing the operations, as well as ensuring that all team members, Simone, are working towards the same objective, because this is crucial and critical to efficient growth. Okay? So then, if we pause for a minute and talk about large enterprises use strategic plans to navigate those complex market dynamics. Okay? And so it's all about sustainable competitive advantage, as well as aligning the vast array of departments and functions towards that common long-term goal. So in essence, and to summarize that, I guess, a strategic plan is not just a document. Yeah. It's a mindset and a practice that keeps you, your team, and your business on track towards achieving your greatest aspirations, right? It's about making intentional choices today that will shape the future of your business tomorrow. Right. Okay. So, that I think that I kind of reframed my question, because you kind of threw in there, does it apply to different businesses? And so I really thought, well, as I'm answering the question, let's really look at it from those three phases. And hopefully that demonstrates to our audience and to people listening and listening live or listening on replay that every business needs a strategic plan. Yeah. And strategic thinking is a skill. Right, that I actually believe 90% plus people don't have. And that is why I'm always a big believer that, having a strategist in your business is more important than a coach, more important than an advisor. And strategic thinking and planning is expensive. Again, because unlike coaching, which there are so many of them, right? Yeah. It's like a red ocean, and trying to navigate the waters of coaching is a joke sometimes, right? It's a conversation that I have with people in with my coach, is that how do you navigate to pick the right person? And for me, it's finding someone that can think, right? And so that's really important to me. But the strategic thinking side is lacking in most business. And also business owners get really busy. And this is why, a lot of people think strategic planning is reserved for the big boys, right? The big boys and girls at the top, right? But it's not, right? You know, sitting down. I think, you know, who was it? Nicole, one of our Evolve members. You know, I started with her on a 1-day workshop. Sure, it cost her, you know, she won't mind me telling her, it cost her, you know, $15,000 for the day.
Yeah.
But she'd been going solo as a chiropractor for so long, and she was stagnant.
Yeah.
That 1 day with her, in her own words, what did she say? She wrote a review on it too. Straight after, she was like, I don't, you know, it wasn't something I asked her. She just went and wrote a Google thing. You took my fruit salad brain, right, and made it clear, or something like that. It's on Google, so just Google it, right? And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool, because that is the objective of a strategic session, is to take all of those bits and pieces that are everywhere. And, you know, Nicole had such a wonderful experience. She joined us in our Evolve program, 2 months later. I mean, literally, she rang me. She said, how do I get in? I said, well, listen, it's December, January. We kind of don't work during that time. And she's like, what have you got? Some kind of lifestyle business? I said, absolutely. And we'll build that for you. And she's amazing. She's been such a breath of fresh air, super smart. You know, like, what's she doing? Her third master's. Now she's, you know, studying neuroscience and publishing in A-Star and B-Star publications. And, you know, we're so blessed to have someone like that. And, you know, and that's not a big business. That's a service provider. You know, I'm not going to go into dollars here, but service provider with, you know, one team member. Now she's got 2-3 team members, and she's got days off for her to write. So, you know, what value do you put on that? You know, and I say to people, you know, and I've worked with people who say to me, Christian, you know, how do you bring value just by talking? It's like, man, I'm not talking, I'm thinking. Yeah. And unless you can think as deeply as I can and as quickly as I can, then you're at a disadvantage. And so, and that's not coming from an egotistical perspective. You know that. That's coming from a genuine care. And so many people choke in those situations. And again, it's because you don't have a strategy, right? You might have a plan, right? And you might have it on the back of a napkin, but you know, at least that's something, right? So I say to people, at least have a plan on the back of a napkin. Some people don't have a plan at all.
Yeah. Well, previous to being a business owner, my only experience with seeing a strategy or anything like that was actually at like the annual meeting or the annual agenda that it was then shared, and you're thinking, okay, I've been an employee here for so long and I haven't even ever really understood what the strategic plan is for the organization. So I guess I'm going to dive into a little bit of a sub question here is, who do you share your strategic plan with in your teams? Should everyone see it or no?
Absolutely. I mean, we've got, and you've seen it, we've got a 1-page strategic plan that is, you know, on a very large A3 piece of paper. Oh, sorry, it is an A3 piece of paper. It's not very large. It is one size. A lot of our clients blow it up to A1 because it's 7 columns. It's really incredibly well structured. That's normally for the exec team. And then we have a vision summary, which takes all the frameworks and the important stuff that you can filter down as far as even contractors to the business. And people always say to me when I walk into some of these bigger organizations, they're like, really? You want the contractors to see it? I'm like, aren't they a critical stakeholder to your business? I mean, you can't operate without the cleaning company, right? If you're a hospital, without the cleaning company, you don't operate. So sure, you want to share with them what you're doing, because they might, you know, if you're planning on opening up 3 new wings, obviously that's not going to happen really quickly in a hospital, but if you're going to open up 3 new wings, they're going to need to have the capacity. And so my prescription to this is that you've got to involve all stakeholders. So absolutely, and just, you know, give them the bits that they need, right? Yeah. No one wants to be treated like a mushroom in an organization, right? You know, people wonder why people are not engaged and why people want to leave. And it's, you know, if you treat them like a mushroom and they don't know, and you just have this expectation that you're paying them and they have to come to work and they have to work, then, mate, there's going to be someone out there that's going to be doing it better. You know, I mean, I look at you guys as in our team. You know, I'm pretty ruthless to work for. You know, let's not sugarcoat it,
let's
right?
Not
you know,
that.
well, I mean, at the end of the day, I have a complete no bullshit approach.
Yeah.
And I have no filter. And if you can't cope with that, then there's no point in working for me, and there's absolutely no point in being in our program, because I treat everyone the same. I probably am harder on, particularly on you, Bonnie. I'm really hard on you guys, but you don't get anywhere without being challenged. You don't get to places if you're comfortable, right?
Yeah.
And so to me, I often like to create empowered agitation. It's like, hey, we got to do this. I'm giving you the tools to do it, but now I'm going to agitate the water a little bit. Let's make it a little bit more challenging. So again, and that's all because we've got a very dynamic, active strategy. I mean, that's why people always say you move so fast. Well, let me tell you, there's no substitute for speed.
Yeah.
Right? Perfect inaction will always trump perfect action. Perfect imperfect action will always trump perfect inaction.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that if you don't make yourself uncomfortable, you won't grow. And the easiest way to do that is ditch the plan and have a strategy.
Yeah.
Right? And if you're really clever, you'll have a plan in your strategy. So then you can link those two together.
Okay, got it. All right. I want to ask you then, following on from that, what are the time frames? What are we looking at when you talk about a strategic plan? Is it, your big BHAG, your 10-year strategy, your 3-year strategy, your 12-month strategy? What are you talking about? Are there different strategic plans for different time frames? Give me the lowdown.
Right. Look at you using fancy Jim Collins language. The BHAG. Right? It's the big, hairy, audacious goal.
I've been studying the people that you love.
Right? So, look, the strategic plan should ideally encompass multiple timeframes. Okay? And we do that in order to address the immediate actions as well as the long-term vision. So a well-rounded strategic plan typically includes a 12-month operational plan, a 3-month strategic plan, and then a broader 10, 25-year BHAG or vision. In ours, we also include quarterly. So we've added another step in there, and we include the celebration that we have to have every quarter, every year. There's a whole bunch of steps. We include our values, our goals, our trends, our strengths, our weaknesses. All of our KPIs are listed at the top, and we work to, when I'm writing plans for people, I'm working to 18 KPIs, and they're all very high level. And then we also work to one critical number. What's the one singular number you have to measure in order to understand the pulse of the organization and where it's at. So let's just break that down a little bit without all those extra steps. So 12 months, this is actually the most detailed portion of the strategic plan. It focuses on those immediate actions, the goals, and as well as the initiatives. It's about what you're actively working on now, Simone, and it's all about clarity and actionable steps that align you, the organization, and the entire team to those long-term objectives. So this plan helps tracking progress, but also ensures the daily operations support the strategic goals. Okay? Yeah. Then we go a little bit, we step out. And remember, we work backwards. So we start with a 5, 10, or we start with the BHAG, then we'll go to a 3 or a 5. So I'm going to work from 12 to 3. The 3-year is all about the strategic outlook. So this is the medium-term perspective that allows you to set the milestones that you want for growth, the milestones you want for innovation, and the milestones you want for market expansion, right? As well as penetration, okay? It's less about the specific actions and more about the key objectives and the strategies that you need to achieve them, okay? So this time frame actually helps you navigate through the operational realities while keeping that, an eye on the future, and particularly those future opportunities and trends and challenges. Okay, so I'm trying to be as descriptive as possible in my responses. Anyone that's taking notes, and I know you guys give me grief that I give people way too much, but this is me giving you a snippet. Really, it's not a lot, and this is where people get lost because they're like, there's so much. It's like, well, this is why you need someone in your corner. It's why you need someone in your team, right? You shouldn't be doing it solo. And if you've got people in your team and they're not cutting it, then dump them, right? Like it's really that simple. I mean, obviously, if they're employees, I'm referring to advisors and other bits of pieces. If it's employees, you work through it, you do it because they're not contractors. But if they're contractors, mate, you're not obliged to stay with someone just because you've been with them. They've got to serve you, right? And that's our philosophy. If we don't serve you, we let you go. Like it's pretty easy. And if you want to come back, then you might have to wait a while, right? But that's just the way that we play the game. So then you've got your 10-year vision, right? So I like to work to 10-year visions because I'm getting older. And so, I kind of look at 25 years and I'm thinking, oh, and also a lot of things happen in 25 years now, right?
It just feels like such a long time. I couldn't even imagine trying to develop a strategy for 25 years.
Yeah, look, I used to, as a 20-year-old, used to work to 25-year BHAGs, and normally I'd achieve most of them within 10-year blocks. And so what I've realized now is I like to work to 10 years as my BHAG anyway, because I know how much I achieve in 10 years. I'm now on my, third cycle of being a business owner in that 10 years. And every cycle I have achieved monumentally more, but different. Okay. So, and that's because my vision was different each time. So let's call it a 10-year or call it a 25-year BHAG. BHAGs are 10 to 25. This is your big picture goal, right? So it's the ultimate direction that you're steering your business towards. It includes your vision for the company, and I guess more so what the company will become and what it will look like and its place in the market as well as the community. All right. The long-term view is crucial to making strategic decisions that actually require significant investment, right? And particularly not just resources, but time. People always document resources, but rarely factor in the time that is going to be required. And this is where they tend to go broke, right? Because they become broken. So ensuring that this is all about ensuring that they can contribute to the overarching aspirations of the organization, all right? That is the whole idea of this. So, Simone, I guess balancing these timeframes actually allows you to operate effectively, all right, in the present, that is, while methodically building towards your future. And I think ultimately what it does is ensures that your strategic plan is both the roadmap and a compass, and it guides your business through those immediate challenges, but also sets the tone for your long-term success. And then clearly, it's pretty obvious. I love talking about strategy. I love writing strategy. Every time I sit down with one of my mentors and I say, the one-to-many is really growing. It's doing well. I think I'm going to give up one-to-one work. And they look at me and they go, "You mad? That's so your genius." And then you get guys like Karim Bokta from Bokta Method, who's one of our clients, started from COD and worked his way up into Evolve, and now he's an international TEDx speaker. And he says, "Christian, your genius is the way you can break something down really fast." And I never thought that I could do that in a group environment. And this is why I'm starting to really weigh up how much more one-on-one work we want to do, because when you're doing it with a group in a mastermind environment, it's such a buzz, because you're thinking of their business while you've got 25 other business owners in the room who all want attention on their business, and then you break it down and then everyone goes, "Oh my gosh, that is so applicable to me as well." And I'm like, yes. So it's about being able to propel that genius. I mean, I don't really like calling it a genius because I don't really want to put that kind of pressure on myself. But it's something I truly enjoy. But a lot of that I have to give credit to, guys like Jim Collins, right? It inspired me. I got the CDs, right, like of the book. It was before Audible came out, right?
Cool.
It was like in the early 2000s. But another amazing book is Blue Ocean, right, by some couple of really smart people from Harvard. And I'm surrounded by strategy books, and even the Lean Startup by Eric Ries. I've listened to the audiobook 3 times. I've read the book twice. I mean, there's heaps more here, but some of them are my secret books, so I'm not gonna pop them up. But we're surrounded by strategic thinking, but we just don't invest in it, and it's the difference between freedom and burnout. That's really what I think strategic planning is all about. Why I say that is because people that don't have a strategy and don't have a plan are rudderless, and therefore they're running around like a headless chook or like a duck, right? And you don't see the feet. Man, eventually those feet get tired.
Yeah.
Right. And I see so many people who will come to us and they're already burnt out. And I just go, mate, it's too late. Right. And they're like, what do you mean? I thought you helped people. I said, well, I help good people become great. Right. And they're like, so what happens to me? I'm like, well, we should probably look at an exit. Right. And we've helped people through that. I've certainly helped people exit their businesses over and over again. And you can actually get a much greater return out of exiting your business and starting again more intelligently. And this is where people drive me crazy, because a lot of people who would have heard me say that just now would have been like, oh, what? You don't care about people that are struggling. You don't know me, right? Like, I care a lot about people, and I care a lot about people that struggle, because the struggle is real and I've been there myself. But you got to be able to let go of things sometimes. And I see so many people inflict an incredible amount of pain on themselves and on their family and on their investors, when if they'd gotten out when I'd said, hey, let's try and exit this. Let's recover something. Instead of going bankrupt and owing people $500,000, they would have broken even. And starting off even again, you're in no different place than everybody else. We're all started with nothing. And, anyone out there thinking, how do I know that? Go listen to a few of my podcasts. I started with nothing and, made a mozza of money and then lost it all. Yeah. And, for all those reasons that I know that I can give advice, ego, validation, right? Oh, just the thought of all those things, right?
I've lined up my next couple of weeks of hot seat interviews, digging into some of these things you've said.
Yeah, well, we've also got to work out what we're going to do when I'm in Europe for 3.5 weeks working and taking my family. I've been stressed out. It's like nothing stresses me out, as you know, right? And then the only thing is juggling my family on a trip for 3.5 weeks while I've got to work as well. And
in
it's
a totally different time zone. That's the tricky part.
Complete other side. It's not like, hey, let's go to Bali and it's a couple of hours, or let's go to Manila and work from our office. This is like, let's go to Dublin and hang out with some cool clients. Let's go to London, and let's go to Paris, and and then our family have gotten wind that we're going. Our family in Italy, and they're all really upset, and they're like, you have to come here for a week, and we're like, mate, we can't do it. Like, I can't take the kids out of school for 4.5 weeks. But yeah, look, it's we all have our different pressure points. I guess that was the point. And those things aren't in my strategic plan. Okay, so this is why, and I always say to people, like, there's no one out there is perfect, right? Yeah. And so that's where a strategic plan and a business plan are really important. And again, like I say, accountants can help you formulate the structure of a business plan. They generally can't write you a strategic plan. Growth advisors that are out there, I'd be asking, if you're going to be using a growth advisor, I'd be asking them, how many strategic plans have you written and how do they differ from a business plan? Most of them don't know the difference, right? And there is a significant difference.
Yeah.
And the ones that are really good and extraordinary, and there's a few out there, a few that I also call friends, they combine both, and they give people the tools for both. And so I think that's really important. So again, I just want to reiterate, like, from the great question, Simone, I think the key here is, everyone should have a strategy of some kind, no matter how big or small. Now, obviously you're a startup, you can't afford, to hire a consultant for 15 grand a day. That's all good. Have a look at what other programs they have. And I mean, we have our Customers on Demand program, which we have, which we're launching this week, a revised version. I can't even say the price.
I know. I can see you struggling to even say it.
It hurts me, right? And my mentors have said, you're going to take over the world. And I'm like, mate, I don't even know if it's going to work. We know the course works. We've had so many success stories. Like, one of our clients last week, and she was on the call listening, $16,000 in 1 week of sales. Another client's gone from, 3 years of, $2,000 months in a side hustle to $45,000 a month. I mean, we've got so many of these success stories. So if you're a startup and you think, oh, Christian, you're unattainable, you're too expensive, you're probably right. But you might want to look into what we've got. And this is why, me spending the last 18 months, 2 years learning about one-to-many and really getting my head around how to do that so I could best serve people at my full capacity, right? Not some half-wit bullshit thing, right? So do you want to? How much is it? Just I can't say it.
It's $110 a week, Christian.
That hurts. You guys convinced me that we should do that, and so, that's a significant reduction on what the upfront cost used to be, and then also I've maintained the guarantee. So even if you think after 2 weeks that we are full of shit and you're not going to get any value out of it, keep everything you've got, enjoy the coaching calls that you've had, and we'll refund you the $220 too in the first 14 days. So we're so confident, and we're so ready for 100 plus in there. And so if you're a startup or someone who's been stuck, what a great way to test the water, right? Get in touch with Simone. It's almost impossible to get in touch with me. Even Simone knows that. But that is, again, because my vision was to transform the world, not a couple of wealthy people who could afford me. And I look at the clients that are with me now, Lauren, the Hawkes family in particular, like those two. The Hawkes family was a sizable business when they came to me, and now they're a much bigger business. But Lauren started off she was a startup, and now 6x rev. We are an amazing team. She's an amazing human, and we've got so many amazing clients like that. It's just so transformational. And I thought, when you came on board to manage our community, it's what we talked about, was like, how do we make this shit more accessible for people? And there's no excuse now. If you are one of those people that sits in a corner of bitches and whinges that you can't afford anything, you can all afford $100 if you've got a great idea and you're already making money. Don't come if you're not making any money. Like the $100 is better spent on food, right? For your family. Don't do that. But someone could easily now go and borrow, to join the program. And and the beauty of it is we don't kick you out. You stay as long as you want after the initial period, because we know that there's a sweet spot. and then
And everyone learns differently, right? Some
yeah,
people like to binge watch content and do things all in a weekend if you can't have that availability through the week. And other people just like to really take their time and make sure that they're digesting the information as well as executing it. Because some of us love to learn and don't execute.
we got a few of those in COD, don't we? I won't mention any names, but we have Susan. Susan, right? Susan is one of our early founders into the program, and
Yeah.
one of the most amazing human beings that I have had the privilege of working with. And she's just chilled, sits back. She's done the course 3 times, refining her offer, and now she's getting a royal kick up the arse. Susan, if you, I know you're going to listen to this at some point. I'll see you on the accelerator call on Thursday morning. But yeah, I'll be reminding you that I want to see the roadmap complete now. So, it's one of those things, and then we hold people accountable, so it's so important. So wherever you are, there's no excuse not to surround yourself with strategic thinkers. That's the point. I mean, I look at COD, and COD doesn't have access to me at the first stage, but if you when you start to have the success, selfishly, we hope that you want to invest a little bit more of the money that you're making in our programs, and then you can get you can apply to join the COD Accelerator, which then includes a call with me every week. They're fun. Not saying that the calls with the 3 other amazing coaches, as
We're
Simone,
fun
Bonnie,
too.
and Adrian aren't, but mine can go a little left field, and they're a bit of an intense jam, and they lately have been going way over time, much to the disgrace of my son, who's like, I need to be at school, Pa. So, but no, it's just the love and admiration that I have for people that are kicking goals, and sometimes people don't kick goals, Simone. And we support them through that until they do, and that's so powerful, right? Like it's what fills my cup every single day, and I just can't be any more grateful than I am. Like, my heart is filled with immense gratitude for all the people in our lives, all of our clients, all of our customers, all of our members, all of our students, our whole team. It's I always said 2024 was going to be huge, and it's been huge already, but it's going to be massively huge. And that's not because of us. It's going to be because the results that we're going to get, the transformations that we're going to get for our clients, because that's the vision that we have. Wrapping it up with the vision. I know you just glanced at the clock. It's
I did.
time.
I didn't check your calendar before we jumped on the call today, but I'm sure you're supposed to be somewhere else.
I actually have strategic thinking time allocated in my diary, so I'm pretty pumped, and I've got to finish. How many pieces of content have I written in the last few weeks? I think I've run out. I think I'm close to 80 now.
Yeah.
And it's the first time I've been writing in. I think I wasn't even writing when you first started with us. So it's been 2 years. So if all of you love our content, brace yourself. And if you're not on our insights emails, you want to be in our email sequence now. Just some of the cool shit that I'm going to be sharing. It's so exciting. I think that's what it is. I've gone into creative mode. You guys can't see it, but my glass walls are covered in artistic drawings.
That's right.
Trust me, I'm a terrible drawer. So they make sense to me, not to most people. But look, Simone, thank you. Thank you for great questions. I really, really enjoyed those questions this week. And I hope that our listeners have gotten the answers that they want. I think we streamed for the first time ever on Instagram today. So I don't know. I think we're on 5 live streams at the same time. So I'm not really sure. We haven't seen any comments, so I don't know where everyone is. But wow, we've got a lot of people on YouTube, and then I can't see, never see anyone on LinkedIn. So I know you guys are typing away. Love to see you put hashtag live in there, or replayed depending on when. And if you got any feedback for us, right? Yeah. If you think that I talk too much, well, sorry. Actually, not really sorry. But Simone, you're a wonderful listener. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Christian. And also, if anyone has any questions that they would like me to ask you or a suggestion for a hot seat episode, please get in touch, write a message into the comments or DM me, and I'll get back to you and fit that into our schedule. So, Christian Lavolsi, thank you again for your time. This has been the hot seat. As always, those gold nuggets, all about strategy today. So thank you. And we'll be back next week with Hot Seat.
Working with Christian is a game changer. Hi, I'm Adrian Lee from GrowthLink Coaching and Consulting. I started working with Christian in August 2020 as his LinkedIn growth consultant. We worked together on his LinkedIn brand for about 12 months before becoming business partners in Growth Outsourced late 2021. Christian is a hidden genius. He helped me break through a significant financial target by restructuring my growth consulting online business offer. I don't know of any one person who can give you so much focus, clarity, and structure to live your purpose and get shit done. He holds you accountable to your words and gives you the tough love when you need it. I love his no BS approach to business and life. Everyone needs a Christian Lavolsi in their life. Do whatever you have to work with Christian. This is just the beginning for us, and I am super pumped to continue growing together. Thanks again, Christian.